So welcome, Doc Smith. So happy you're here. I can't wait to hear everything you have to say. Doc is going to give us his bio, but first probably bring us into a little exercise.
Thank you very much, Meg. It's great to be here. And let's take 3 breaths all the way out. Let's do 3 breath cycles together at least. And our goal for these breath cycles is the focus is on the exhale, releasing 100% of the air that we have inside of us out of an open and relaxed mouth. So you can watch me for the first one. I'm going to breathe all the way out. Stick my tongue out. Relax my lips. I'm going to receive the breath into my nose. It's seeping in like a wave at the ocean. And then all the way out, open mouth. Amen. One more time. Filling up from the center. Expanding in all directions. And open mouth, exhale. And flutter the lips if you like. Stick the tongue out. Now, however we want to do it, let's have a moment here. We'll do what we call a body scan, body-mind scan. Feel however we're feeling and take a note in our mind. Continue with those exhales out of an open mouth. And once we feel like we have awareness of how we're feeling, if we have any pains anywhere, any thoughts that aren't flowing, any emotional state that we feel like we have, we're making a note of it and accepting it right now for exactly as it is. And we're releasing 100% of the air on the exhale. And we're inhaling into the nose, receiving everything we need, and continuing with open mouth exhale. And now we're going to fine tune a little bit, incorporating the posture as well as we continue these purging exhales. On the breath in, I want to feel my belly expanding. The air is seeping in slowly and my belly is expanding in all directions. Even my perineum is releasing down to the earth. And then the rib cage expands after the belly. And then with the exhale out, the crown of the head and the soles of my feet move in opposite directions. My shoulders relax. Let's continue that for 2 more breaths, receiving all we need into the nose, expanding in all directions. And on a breath out, crown of the head goes up to the sky. Spine lengthens as the feet glue down to the ground. Continue on anytime we feel like throughout the rest of this time we're together. Anytime we feel any tension, any pain, whether it's what we call the mind, the spirit, physical body, remembering that our practice is to release 100% of the air that we have inside of us out of a relaxed, open mouth. So if we're feeling any pain, just go. Release it out, and then receive the new energy into the nose. Without taking it, we're receiving it. And if we're feeling good, we're feeling fine, we feel balanced, then we can breathe out of the nose. Exhales the same length as the inhales. So here we are, we're in a basic, what we call a Wu-Ji posture meditation. Wu-Ji means emptiness. So our goal in this meditation is to increase the emptiness and the space that's inside of us. So as the crown of the head goes up to the sky, there's more space in between every one of these vertebrae. There's more blood flowing, more cerebrospinal fluid flowing, more airway opening. And as I release out, using every function of my mouth, the things that I'm typically ashamed to use publicly, using these functions, working these muscles that typically are never used, it's going to help to move the energy that's stuck anywhere in the whole body. It's all connected. It's all the same energy, ultimately. So as we do this Wu-Ji posture base meditation, anytime you feel like it, come right back to this center point where all we're doing is we're right here in the center, whether we're seated, standing, lying down. We're receiving the breath without taking it, filling up in all directions. If we have any pain or tension, tenseness, stress, we go, let it all the way out. As we expand the crown of the head up to the sky. Now that we're here, we might as well spend a few moments increasing the effect that we're able to have here. If we do another body scan, we might see if we feel any different from the first body scan that we did. Are we any more relaxed, any more pain-free? Simply by moving the energy with the mouth, primarily, and expanding the posture in all directions. To refine this, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through from head to toe and open all the joints that we have time for. So, starting head to toe, we can at least do our neck. Let's bring the chin down to the chest. We can assist ourselves if we want. We can interlace our fingers behind our head like this and have a breath all the way out. As I'm flexed forward here, I'm also bearing the weight of my hands, and I'm doing a metric contraction with the back of my neck muscles, actually. Do about 3 breaths here. Continuing to use purging exhales through this joint opening. On the 3rd breath, I'm going to come back up to the center. Release out. Feel the crown of the head go up or to the sky again. On my next breath out, I'm going to extend my neck back. Stick my tongue up, out. Send my 3rd eye up to the sky. Relax my shoulders. I'm going to be here for 3 breaths. And I'm extended at the neck, and I'm ever so slightly pushing my 3rd eye up to the sky. There's a lot of tension and stuckness and tightness in the cervical spine for me. So I'm always using my purging breath to help me break that up and move it. Next exhale, I'm going to come back to the center. Feel the crown of the head up to the sky. On my next exhale, I'm gonna pick up my left hand. You can start wherever you like and go up and over. Cup my other ear. And on my exhale, I'm gonna bring this ear, my left ear, down to my left shoulder. Trying to keep my right shoulder relaxed. This whole lateral side of my neck is getting a nice stretch and a bit of an isometric contraction at the very limit of my range of motion here. When I reach that limit, I actually push up a bit against my hand, which then engages all this soft tissue. And then I notice on my next exhale, I'm actually able to increase my range of motion a little bit. And on my next exhale, I'm actually going to take my other arm up while maintaining a relaxed shoulder, breathing in, and then I'm going to wipe, swipe, sweep, brush, whatever we want to call it, coming down, using my hand, sweeping down my ear, coming down the side of my neck and coming out of the shoulder and go. Shaking it out, breath in silently. Next breath out. Gonna go to the other side, there we go. Up and over on the breath out. Right ear collapsing down to the right shoulder. Left shoulders relaxed. Remembering that isometric contraction begins at the end of the range of motion here. So that's as far as I can go. On my next exhale, I'm actually going to push up against my hand just a bit, engaging all these muscles that typically are never engaged. And then again, on my next inhale, I'm going to come up, relax this shoulder. I'm going to sweep down, physically using my hands here. Coming down, sweeping it out of the shoulder, tossing that excess energy, that old stagnated energy out. Receiving all the new energy we'll ever need right into the nose each time. Okay, so we just opened up the neck fairly well. Now let's do shoulders. So I'm going to breathe in and I'm going to reach up. My hand up to the sky like I'm shaking hands with the sky, relaxing the shoulder. And on my breath out, I'm going to turn back and shake hands with someone behind me. And then continue all the way like this. So all the way like this. So it's breath in and then breath out. And it's an important point because I just felt myself do this. As I was coming down like this, rather than allowing my arm to just relax and swing, I was still kind of holding it here. So I want to let it go and relax it down. About 5 on that side. Come to the center, one breath in the center. Next inhale, shoulder relaxed, reaching up to the sky, shaking hands, and on the breath out, back to the behind it and through. Okay, about 5 on that side. And when we're ready, let's have a breath in the center here. And on our next breath in, let's do elbows and wrists. And you can see here, I'm really getting every knuckle of my fingers. Everything is relaxing and releasing and going through its range of motion here. Kind of shake it out in conjunction with that purging exhale. I can use my hands and go like this. One more time. Shaking it out. Okay, so we've opened up our joints, upper body, and let's go ahead and if we're able to stand up, if you're not able to stand up, that's okay. Some people aren't able to stand up. We can open our hips as we're able to. If we're not able to move our hips, we can do our best. If you can't move your hips, rotate your ankles, move your knees. But if you're able to stand up, we're going to go ahead and hands on the hip. I've got my feet just about hips width apart. And on a breath in, I'm going to feel my center here. And on a breath out, I'm going to go one side as far as I can. And on the next breath in, I'm going to begin making a circle here. Trying to keep my head in the center the whole time, but making as big of a circle as I can with my hips. Let's go 3 times each direction. Continue purging breaths. And always stopping in the center before we change directions. And on exhale, go as far as we can. And then come back the other way. Keeping the feet grounded. So we're opening up all of our joints from head to toe. Why are we doing that? Each joint is like a gate on a farm. And if we want the animals on the farm to be able to freely move around so they can get to where they need to go, we got to open up the gates. And as we're ready, we come back to center. Now, it might be hard to see me here, but I'm getting down, I'm putting my hands above my knees. Okay, trying to have good posture with my back. And I'm going to make circles with my knees here. Choose one direction to start. Do about however many you feel like, 5 or 8, 10, whatever. And when you're done, pausing in the center. Another breath cycle. When we're ready, go the other direction. Putting the knees. Using the range of motion that we have. When we're ready, come back to center. Next is ankles. So hands on the hips. This is where if you're at home, if you need to, feel free. In fact, go ahead and it's best to be supported. So that way we can focus on our ankle. We're not doing anything else. We're just relaxed and we're focusing on the ankle here. And I want you to see how I'm just letting my ankle hang and rotate as much as I can. So rotate each ankle in each direction, maybe 5 or 10 times. With those purging exhales, pause before switching directions. And when we're ready, shake it out, kick it out. Working the hip, knee, ankle, all of it. Coming back to the center and switching legs. When we're ready, rotate that ankle. If you get any pops, anything like that, that's good. Feel it. Go with it. Let it go. Make sure the standing leg, the knee is slightly bent. Don't lock out the knee. When we're ready, switch direction with the rotation. And when we're ready, kick it out. Feel that whole chain loose. Then come back to the center. Okay, we've made it this far. We might as well keep going because there's so many scientific things that we can do to help ourselves. We're moving right along, one thing at a time. We started out expanding our basic posture with our breaths all the way out. Open mouth, receiving all the air, everything you need into the nose without taking it, filling up in all directions, even going down. And open mouth exhale. The goal of what we're doing here is to create movement. Health is free movement, movement where there's no blocks, nothing stuck, nothing stagnated. Whether we talk about energy, emotions, thoughts, blood flow, nerve flow, physical things, it's all the same idea. Movement, free movement is health, and stuckness is disease. And it has many, many symptoms, many signs. So, establishing our purging exhale, that is our main form of detox. When we're talking about detox, it's not all about material things that we need to take out of us physically. It's the condition, the overall general state of our being is either healthy or toxic. So, on an energetic level, is the foundation for everything. So, when we release the exhale, open mouth all the way, we're beginning that movement that's going to move everything, whether it's a thought, an emotion, physical pain, indigestion, anything. So then we've opened up our joints, which creates more space. It's like opening up a door. So now we can move through. The energies can move through in all directions. So now that we've done that, let's continue on and we'll do what we call tapping. So I'm going to form with my fist here. Now, again, I'm not balling my fist tightly at all. I'm very light, like I could hold a baby bird in my hand. And I'm just going just like this. And in fact, my wrist is, everything's limp. Okay. And I'm going to start on my left, basically my pec attachment to my front of my shoulder. As I'm breathing in, then I breathe out, continue down. I can use this part of my hand or I can use this part of my hand. Either way. But I'm going down the inside of my arm. The inside is in. So we're following the direction of the flow of the energy here. Continue with the purging breath. Tapping palm of the hand. Now I'm going to hand over, turn the other hand over, and now we're going to go the opposite direction. This is the yang side of the arm. And now I'm going to go up the yang side. Coming onto here, my traps, side of my neck, all that. Coming to the front of my clavicle, front of my chest here. Then I'm going to switch sides. Same thing on the other side. We'll go down the other arm, down the inside. What we're doing here is we're scattering chi. So there's chi that's stuck, it's pulled up, stagnated. So this right here, scattered it all. Young. Up here, Okay, now like Tarzan. Remembering to keep my elbows relaxed, even though they're bent. Anytime I need to, I can go like this. Shake out any energy that's getting stuck. Over the rib cage, side of the ribs, bit and lightly over the vital organs, going in a clockwise direction.
As if I know what that way.
It's you'll learn this. I'm gonna do it. I'll lead us through a meditation here in a minute.
If I go like this, I can do it with you.
Well, okay, so in other words, by clockwise, I mean starting in the center around my sternum, and I'm gonna go to my left.
To your left.
So I'm going over above my stomach and
Our
spleen.
left. Yes,
Yep.
got it.
So now I'm over stomach and spleen. Now I'm over my colon. Now I'm over urinary bladder. Now I'm over liver gallbladder. Now I'm up over my heart. Okay? Breaking anything up that's stagnating in there. Okay, now I'm coming over up here over these renal area, or whatever we want to call the front of the hips here, side of the hips. Coming back to my glutes. Getting my sit bones up of my hamstrings. Remember to keep my knees slightly bent. Going to the sides of my legs now, down the IT band, down to the side of my knees. You can't see me here quite, but I'm going all the way down the sides of my lower legs to my outside of my ankles. Now tapping the top of the feet, all the way to the top of the toes. And now coming to the insides of the feet. Coming to the insides of the ankles. And now I'm going to come up the inside of the lower leg. So we go down the outside of the leg, and we come up the inside of the leg. Coming up the inside of all the way to the inside of the knees here. Coming up the inside of my groin here. Back to around my belly button. But I'm going to come back and go back to the glutes. And now we're going to go down the backside. And I'm going to go down to the back of my legs. Down the middle of my hamstrings. The back of my knees feels really good. My calf muscles, back of my lower legs here. My Achilles tendon. And then coming back around to the outside of the ankle and tapping all of the top of the feet. All the way around the big toe to the inside of the feet. Knees slightly bent. Tapping the inside of the ankles. Coming up the inside of the lower legs. Inside of the knees. Coming back up to here. Okay. And now we're going to switch our hands to more of a brushing. Okay, so we've done tapping. Now we're going to do brushing. And if you just watch me here, we could say that I'm working on the level of my chi. Okay, I'm not getting deep. I'm also not completely above my skin, but I'm going like that. That's brushing. So now everywhere that we just tapped, let's go through and brush. And that energy that was stuck and stagnated, we've scattered it. And now we can collect it up and we can move it out of the joints. So especially the wrists, pull it out of the fingertips, and then turn around to the yang side of the arms and come up this way. Brushing that energy up to here. Okay? Same on the other hand. Brushing that energy up. Shaking it out. And now we're going to come down like this. We're going to come down the side bodies. Brushing all the way down the sides of my knees, sides of my ankles. Brushing the top of my feet and pulling that energy out of my toes. You guys can see me fairly well here. And then I'm going to come up the inside. Brushing the inside. Come up to here, get to the belly button, cross over, up to the armpits, up to the elbows, and then shaking it all out. I'll do one more time. We come to the back, go down the back of the legs, brushing all the way down the tops of the feet, pull it out of the toes, pull it out of the ankles, and then come up the inside. Crossing over around the belly button, coming into the armpits, the elbows, and then pull it out the wrists. Send that energy that's coming from here all the way up to the sky. And collect that energy that's coming from the sky and feel it go all the way down, grounding into the earth. Okay. So this has been a nice series of purging so far. Let's go ahead. We'll skip past strengthening and we'll go straight to balancing, and then we'll move on from this. So on my next breath out, feeling the crown of my head go up to the sky. Wherever we are, if we're seated, standing, doesn't matter. Remembering those purging breaths. We're going to do at least 3 more of these purging breaths together. Any remaining energy that's stuck, letting it go out of an open mouth exhale. And now when we're ready, we're going to switch our breathing from into the nose, out of the mouth. Now we're going to switch from purging exhales to balancing breath. So balancing breath means it's the same length on the way in and the way out. Whereas purging breath, we want the exhale to be longer than the inhale. So here we're going to let the air seep in on an inhale and out of the nose, same way. Let it seep right back out without pushing it. Same fundamentals of expansion, crown up to the sky, feet grounding to the earth. And now coming back to the belly where we were earlier, let's place both hands. I'm going to put my right hand down, basically above my stomach and spleen, on the left upper quadrant of my abdomen. And I'm going to place my left hand right on top of my right hand. And energetically, I'm connecting the center of each palm. Okay? So the center of each palm is right above my area of focus here, my stomach and spleen. And as I'm breathing in, I'm imagining golden yellow, beautiful chi that is pouring over the crown of my head and dripping all down my body, all the way down till it covers my feet and seeps into the earth. It's on my breath in. And on my breath out of the nose, I'm expanding the crown of the head up to the sky. My next breath in, I'm receiving trust. I'm embodying trust. And on my breath out, I'm releasing anything I worry about, any worries are being released. One more time, breathing in trust. Breathing out any obsessions, any worries. On my next breath, my breath out, I'm going to move down almost a quarter turn here, down to my lower left quadrant. Now, the center of each palm is right above the colon. And I'm breathing in my integrity. I'm embodying integrity. Imagine a deep, dark blackish blue color. And I'm breathing out, releasing any sadness. I'm imagining a pearlescent white coming in, pearlescent white. And on my breath out, if there's any sadness or grief or tension, breathe out open mouth if we need to. We can imagine that there's like a smoky gray going out. And breathing in again, that pearlescent white. Breath out, releasing any grief, any sadness. One more breath in, embodying our integrity. On our next breath cycle, we'll move another turn, hands over the urinary bladder here, below the belly button. And as I breathe in, now I imagine a dark, deep dark blue or black color. And as I breathe out, I release any fear. Feel the perineum release down to the ground. On breath in, I'm embodying wisdom. Releasing any fear out of the exhale. When we're ready, one more turn. We come up to the upper right quadrant now, over the liver gallbladder area here. Here we're imagining a deep forest green color coming in. And on an exhale, it can be a slimy, toxic green. If we feel any pain, we can release an open mouth exhale, first one. Send out that slimy, toxic green. And on the breath in, a deep forest green. And on a breath out, releasing any anger, any frustrations. Open mouth if we need to, or if we're feeling stress-free, go out of the nose. We'll finish up with one in and out of the nose for sure, a balancing breath. Receiving kindness into the nose, embodying kindness, and breathing out any frustrations. Do one more turn here. Come over the heart center, roughly, sort of upper solar plexus area here, the sternum. We're going to breathe in peace and calm, imagining a soft pink color. If you have any anxiety, any overexcitement, tension at all, we can release open mouth. Fiery red color. Continue breathing into the nose, embodying peace and calm. Out of the nose, releasing any old energy, any what we might call anxiety, overexcitement. One more breath here. And when we're ready, we're going to go along the exact same pattern we just did. Try to do, say, 3, maybe 5 circles just like this. Encouraging this flow of energy right here in this direction, clockwise. helping all of our vital organs to relax and function at their highest level. And when we're ready, we're going to come up over the belly button, basically. If we identify as masculine, we can have our right hand over the belly button, left hand over the right hand, or vice versa for feminine. I'm breathing into the nose. I'm receiving all the energy that I need without having to take it. As I breathe out of the nose, I'm letting go of everything that can weigh me down. And we can now use this energy that we've cultivated to the highest good until the sun comes up again tomorrow morning. Bow to all of you for being here and joining for this first part of our journey together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ooh, feel great.
Wunderbar. Wonderful. Okay.
Love it. Love it. We just did it.
Thank you. What time? Always. I knew that was going to fly by.
It's all right. You'll be back. All fine.
This is what I do. This is the basis of everything for me. So it's a good intro for people. If we were gonna, we had a lot of topics to cover, but this is a linchpin. So,
Great.
Thank Dr. Megan. You want me to just go right on?
Go for it. Go for it. The floor is yours. The mic is yours.
Well, thank you. My name is Doc Smith. My given name is William, but I was in the Army for 7 years on active duty as a medic, and everybody calls you Doc. So Doc Smith. So when I began doing this, I realized this is my calling, and to help people to understand what a doctor really is.
Yes.
I learned on my own from having all kinds of pains and mental, emotional, physical pains, suicidal, anger issues, along with to the point where I was going to the chiropractor or getting massages multiple times a week and still in pain, all the time. Long story short, I was in the Army, did 3 tours in Iraq, saw everything you could imagine, was a part of a unit that literally saw one of the worst episodes of violence in the whole history of the Iraq War. On January 9th, 2008, lost 6 of my friends that I went to work with every day for 3 years. They got blown up in a house that was rigged to blow up, and 4 other guys were on top of the house. There were 7 guys actually, including the 16-year-old Iraqi interpreter who was downstairs in the house, that the house collapsed on them. And there's 4 guys on the roof that wrote it down. And when we got to them, they're screaming in agony for hours as we had to use the jacks from the vehicles to move the cement blocks that were on their body, smashing their legs. And was my experience. And that's after losing 6 other friends in the 6 months prior to that. And then we had that day. Since then, that was 2007, 2008. And in the almost 20 years since then, we've lost more people to suicide from that unit. And I was going through all these things. And I got out of the military in 2012. Didn't realize how much I needed to heal. Didn't even know what healing was. Still, call it in the ego or whatever you want to call it. I was having an ego trip, and I thought I had a great idea to go start a business and started a catering company and a food truck. And long story short, after 2 years, I was so sick of doing dishes till 3 a.m. That was my experience catering and like, barely breaking even. I'm like, what am I doing? So long story short, I got out of the company and let my friends who were working with me, they continued running it for a few years and then they ultimately stopped. But I got out of it and we had a van that we used for catering. And I took the van and went from Denver, Colorado to, I had some friends in LA. I had no plan. All I knew was that I was going to get a parking pass. And they were, it was like, you can park right on, Ocean Avenue, right in LA. I was like, okay, I'm going to go do van life. So I lived in LA for a year and a half in the van, year or so. And I had a friend that I met. I grew up massaging my mom. My mom would come home from work. She works her butt off, single mom. And she was like, come over here and massage my back. And we loved it growing up. My brother and I would both do it. And she'd give us massage. And long story short, I made a friend in LA who I started massaging her back one day. And she's like, you've got to go become a healer. You have it. And I was like, never had thought, that had never entered my mind. And long story short, I had my Army benefits and I'm looking on the list of schools that are covered and looking for a massage, a bodywork school. And I found Santa Barbara Body Therapy Institute. And I was like, well, I've driven through Santa Barbara. It's awesome. I didn't really know anything else about it. And I was like, I'm going to go up there and check it out. And long story short, I just got married last month. I met my wife there. Within the first few weeks of getting there, she was walking out, I was walking in, and had a beautiful love story for the past almost 10 years. And I found my calling. And Katie Mickey is my main master. She's the longest. She's owned and operated a massage and bodywork school for longer than anybody in the whole state of California. Wow. So, yeah, so she's pretty accomplished. She's been doing it for like 40 years. And I said all that to say that I had a cool story when I first met her. That first week, because I moved up to Santa Barbara, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to this body therapy school. Mm-hmm. And so I move up, and one of the first things I had to do, at this time I was still very much I'm a veteran mindset. I was like, I'm a soldier. I was like, I was identifying that way. So I was like, okay, I got to go to the Santa Barbara VA clinic and I got to, sign up for the VA clinic health insurance, which I don't use that now. But I got there and I have my visit with my primary care doctor, like the intake initial visit. And boy, I had a list of things for him, right? And he's like, what's your chief complaint? I'm like, well, I got a long list and my whole body hurts everywhere. My neck, my shoulders, my back, everything, my knees, my ankles. He's like, what's your chief complaint? I was like, I guess my shoulders. Which one? I'm like, both of them. I guess my right shoulder. And he's like, okay, hold up your arm like this. And I'm going to come check out your shoulder. And I hold my arm up like this and he comes over, and this is before I had met Katie Mickey. Right. And this is before I had met her, but I had not experienced her hands on. Right. Mm-hmm. And he's like fumbling with my shoulder, and he's like just about to retire. The guy's been a primary care medical doctor for 40 plus years. And I could tell he did not know how my shoulder works. Where does it go? What is a good sign? What's a bad sign? If he was just like checking the block, because he was already his answer was, okay, I'm going to send you to a specialist to potentially get surgery. Yep. So
give you some pain meds.
right? I had that experience. And then within a few days, I go to my first class, Santa Barbara Body Therapy Institute, which was a weekend class, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, foot reflexology. And at some point in that class, she was demonstrating something else. And she was like, come here, let me see your arm. And she started working on my arm while I was lying down. And I was like, that's a real doctor. I was like, she is a doctor. She's actually teaching me through felt sense.
Yes.
She literally held onto my shoulder, my arm, and without saying anything, the communication was, this is what you're doing. This is what you can do. This is what you can feel like. This is how you can be.
Yes.
And you get permission. And I went from, like this to, oh, wow. Right. And, her body style or body work style is informed by Chinese medicine. So she does similar things to me where she'll do deep work. She'll get in there and manipulate and work on trigger points and things like that. But then she'll also go through and guide the energy out, which is teaching through felt sense. That tightness there is energy that wants to go this way.
Right. Love
so
it.
So that's how
the word doctor means teacher. We're supposed to be teachers. We empower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, just got a few minutes left here, son of a gun. I could probably do another 10 minutes here. I mean, I could do more, but,
again, you'll be back.
But anybody has any questions? If there's any questions anybody has, basically we were going to potentially talk about Tway Na, which is my main bodywork style. Tway Na means push pull. And this is part of Tway Na. This is called Pak. So Tway, we think about Tway Na, pushing, pulling. So I have some videos like on my YouTube and on the Substack. If people are interested in bodywork, learning bodywork from me, go to healingisfree.com. The publication on Substack is called Healing is Free, Not Easy. And one of the posts I have on there is a little primer on Tway Na. And you'll learn how to use tapping on another person or yourself, and then gentle rocking and sweeping. And typically those three things right there, if you can master those, you're going to be able to help so many people with so many things. I've worked on so many people with so many diverse symptoms.
Right.
They all resolve with the same basic protocols.
Wow. And really, if you summarize it as moving the energy, it's stagnant energy. It's all the different ways to move the energy in the body and then release it. And are you releasing it the same way with the exhale you taught us, and then just like through the arms, through the hands that collect the energy and then releasing it? Is that right? Okay.
While I'm working on people, especially at the very beginning, they'll be lying down on the table and I'll say, okay, let's have a few nice exhales all the way out. And I'll give them a little primer on, I want you to release out fully. Go like this if you can. Go anytime you feel like it. And then I show by example, because anytime throughout an entire session, I'll just go myself.
Yeah, because you're releasing their energy too, and your own. Yep.
And energy and I like to say it's not our energy. This is energy that's coming from the sky. We're a portal. And you know this, right? We're a conductor. It's really cool when you realize you're like, oh yeah, it's not my energy. I don't have bad energy.
It's ours.
Good energy.
Yes.
Right? It's energy that's coming from the sky, going down to the earth. Energy that's coming from the earth, going up to the sky. That's simplified.
Force field. Yep.
And I think you shared this. I think this is actually one of the reasons why I first was like, oh, I got to check you out, because you shared, didn't you share
The image of the torus field. Yeah, which is what I'm going to do on Monday, is that we are a torus field in the main torus field. And I'm going to show you an image of the Earth as it actually is, and where we live in the Earth, which is inside a sphere and not on top of a sphere, because
Wow.
we are inside us. We are the portal. We are the channel inside electromagnetic fields. And we can feel that. And that actually is what awakening is opening the field, awakening and healing being the same thing, opening from our inner eye, which is the same eye, the into the enormous field that we are, the endless
Mm,
field that we are.
mm.
Yeah. And so everything you did is it's just clearing our our unique portal into the larger field. Yeah.
It's There's so many cool ways. This is what's amazing about Taoist thought and philosophy and what we call Chinese medicine. And Katie Mickey said there was a terrible invention that happened in the late 1800s, the light bulb. Before that, there was a period every day where it got really dark. And all we had to do was go inside and feel ourselves and not be stimulated by the environment. But since then we've stopped doing that. It's gotten worse and worse. But you imagine thousands of years and hundreds of generations passing on. All they did all day was meditate and receive
Mhm.
whatever you want to call it, information, understanding. And one of my favorite it's a description of a concept of what's happening is that, and to your point about opening up space, right, from the inside out.
Mhm.
In what we call medical qigong, there's an understanding of what trauma is
Mhm.
as an energetic thing. So we come out like a baby, and I have an article about this on my jingpalace.com for people that are interested more in the movement aspects. And then we haven't even gotten to this yet.
I got my bag of rice ready to go.
We got it. But for me, so far from what I've learned, this is the best way to achieve all these things that we're talking about. The moment we load and challenge the crown of the head, the spine pushes the weight up,
Mhm.
and we begin to open space in all those ways.
Yeah.
And we're even expanding the skull. Literally, the skull is expanding in all directions. So, like, if we've got a tight jaw, that will expand, release down, come out. The sinuses will clear. The eyes will become more symmetrical. The vision will improve. We haven't even gotten to that, but
Let's have you come back. Will you do that when you come back?
we will. And I'll
Whenever you want. Yep.
just tell real quick because I have just
Yeah.
a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Because this is a good one for people that are, we hear things like, my trauma, or, seeds of trauma, how am I going to deal with my trauma? What we call trauma, like you think about a baby, when it's young, what is it doing? It's looking up. It's got full faith, looking up at mama, smiling, loving. There's nothing but full faith and trust. All of what we call original attributes. So integrity. Think of structural integrity. The actual postural integrity is perfect.
Mm.
The baby is in integrity. It's embodying that original attribute. It doesn't have the acquired emotion of sadness yet.
Mm-hmm.
Not grieving and losing the integrity. It's embodying wisdom, not fear. It's embodying kindness, not frustration. It's embodying peace, not anxiety.
Yeah.
It's embodying trust, not worry, right? This is a brand new baby. No trauma, no seeds of trauma, no disease, no pain. Then whatever happened, life happens, a million different things happen. And we get the trauma, and then we go from here and we start to collapse.
Mm-hmm.
We start to collapse down.
Fetal.
That trauma, you talk about that full field flowing from the inside out in all directions.
Mhm.
fully flowing with nothing stopping, nothing stagnating. Imagine like force fields, right? But then a seed of trauma and experience goes into that force field somewhere. What we had before was light in the center. Light is shining out in all ways. Light energy is shining out in all directions, freely flowing. But then a seed goes in. And now it's like you put a lampshade on a lamp. And that's blocking that light from coming out.
Mhm.
So rather than being here, the light's flowing out. Now I'm start to collapse, and in all the ways that light is now being blocked. So that's the beauty of Qigong, what we call energy work. For me, body work, energy work, it's together. And if you look on my reviews of my body work style, people are like, I don't know how he got so deep and didn't hurt me at all. But it's because I'm working on the energy level and the physical level. And to me, they're the same thing. So
The same. Yeah. This
so
is what
that
drives me a little crazy about energy healers is that they it's like it's physical and energy, it's the same. We are light, we are space, we are form, we're all of it. This is just space and light. And in energy healing, there's the rule of physics. It's matter follows energy, which follows awareness. So awareness is the conduit, and you can do this gentle sweeping, and it's really just an extension of of pure awareness,
awareness.
your core self, let's say, that is just healing and loving, the unique one that has been traumatized, that's been hurt, that's been curled into herself, himself. Yeah. Great.
And literally physically
Yeah.
moving that energy.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
whatever way we begin to express disease, but the body doesn't lie. That's another big important saying that I learned.
Right.
It doesn't lie. So whether it's here, the forehead, look, if you watch almost anything on TV, people are always in their emotions. They're worried and obsessed,
Mhm.
sad. These are the liver lines. This is frustration.
I got him. Yeah.
Well, and you're actually doing pretty good, but when we notice
Great.
those,
Mhm.
the cool thing is to have the awareness and to go. And my wife and I, for the whole time we've been together, we've known about these things. And I've said to her, look, if I have my liver lines, I want you to tell me. Tell me I got my liver lines. And so she does, and I tell her too, hey, you got your spleen lines up there. She'll be up here. So literally
Mhm. Mhm.
at the same time, emotionally, spiritually, the spirit is the breath. Spirar means to breathe. So it's a truly holistic practice. And before I get off of here, that brings us into what does holistic mean. This is an important thing because I feel like that word is thrown around so much, and there's so many people that call themselves holistic doctors. And then I look at what they're doing, and they're recommending get this technology test,
Yeah.
and then this product.
Always.
Probably for the rest of your life, you're going to need this product.
Yep. Yep.
And then it's like people are defining holistic as all of the above. Like, yeah, I go to medical doctors, but I also go to chiropractors, and I go to naturopaths, and I go to this, and I go to all of the above. I'm holistic.
Mhm.
No. Holistic is understanding that all of the symptoms that we have are connected to the whole. They all come together and they all go together.
Yep.
And
Yep.
they change like a constellation up in the sky. So
Like it.
one day we've got pain here, next day it's down here, and next day we have indigestion, next day we have insomnia, next day we have migraine.
Mm.
And this we have our culture has a desire to know. We want to what can I call it? How can I classify it, separate it, identify it,
Mhm.
control it?
Mhm.
Because I'm scared.
Mhm.
So if we let all that go, I
Mhm.
say there's no one thing that's causing anything. If there's anything that's the one cause of our disease and our healthcare catastrophe that we have in our country, if there's one cause, it's that we lack all the practices we've been doing so far today.
Yeah.
The average person in this country has no idea about any of this stuff. And children, adults, nobody is being taught these, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And if we are taught these things, these are what we call self-regulation practices. I call them self-healing practices.
Mm-hmm.
We can self-heal from almost just about anything.
Yeah.
So,
well, this is the idea of the People's Trust, right? We have our Declaration of Freedom. We have our, we are sovereign beings, and we have our resource library under everything. And this could go into schooling and into healing, obviously, where everybody just gets all the free tools and we make the old systems moot. Who's going to choose them when it's free and actually works over here?
well, if this is what we're feeling called to do, it's got to be right.
It's got to be right. Yep.
It's got to be. And, whatever happens in terms, without getting into like the current events and stuff too much, it seems like there is a bit of a break going on in humans where there's the people that are going to continue on trusting the the
system, the empire.
Yeah. Oh, the empire. Yeah, the same empire that's literally murdering people and destroying children and women and all over the place, not just in the Middle East. To trust them with our health, then there's going to be people, there's going to be a different set of people like us that are going to actually procreate and repopulate the world and pass on these things. And I've been, it's hard for people to believe, but start thinking about 50 as quarter life.
Totally. Agree.
Start thinking about this idea of aging, what we call age.
Lies.
And I can't wait next time. Maybe we can start out with Jing Palace method. But as I said before, beauty and vitality, how we feel, how we look, how we feel, longevity, how long we live. It's all the same thing. That's why we're attracted to beauty, because, that's someone's going to live long. When we have these wrinkles, people are getting Botox and doing all these horrible things. The wrinkle is just evidence that we haven't used those muscles. We haven't used those muscles. And has anybody seen anybody doing this exercise? Okay. So right now I'm actually, folks, if you're watching and your vanity is your main concern, that's fine. You can start there, and then you're going to actually end up feeling better too, treating people better, yourself better. You'll end up living longer, looking better, feeling better, all together at the same time. But
natural Botox, natural upliftment, natural emotional
absolutely
uplifting.
Absolutely. So,
and you're just engaging the body, right? It's the awareness engaging all these muscles, engaging the skull, engaging everything. And then they revitalize. Yeah.
Exactly. If we don't use it, we lose it. It's all very testable and scientific and clear. It's physical, it's material, it's right there. It's a muscle that does this function. And if it doesn't do this for 20 years, of course it's going to be shriveled up and like this.
Right.
So using our head, we scoff and we look down at people who can't afford backpacks and can't afford nice cars. And this is literally the history of this. Go back 150 years and there's European scientists writing studies that are like, the African head carriers should buy backpacks because we did a test and you can actually carry more weight in a backpack versus head loading, blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God.
No. This is this is so human. This is so human that to not do this, to not load our head, to not use our head, I think it's literally one of the main reasons why we are collapsing into disease the way we are. And for anybody out there, if you're watching this, you're like, what can I do to help myself right now? Literally, this is 4 pounds. You can take a bag of rice, bag of beans. You can just imagine a ball on top of your head. You can use your fingers interlaced like this, relaxing your shoulders, or you can get yourself awake. And the moment that we do it, we reverse that whole pattern. Good job.
Got my my Costco rice.
The moment that we do this, we are not only reversing the pattern that is our physically creating our problems, but we start to strengthen ourselves in that reversal. So I'm not only practicing it, but I'm getting to where doing this with a challenge is easy. So now if I don't have the challenge, it's that much easier to do it, right?
Right. Just like anything.
Exactly.
And you told me you will walk like this and just sort of hold it for miles and miles.
I've already walked 3 miles today with
holding it up there
with 10 pounds on my head. I walked with 10 pounds this morning. I'll walk with up to 30 or 40 pounds sometimes.
Amazing.
And when they studied this, there was a New York Times article like 20 years ago. I literally have.
You've got to go.
Okay. There's a New York Times article about 20 years ago that found that they were studying the women in Africa who do this, like all the time. And they found that they could put 70% of their weight on their head.
Oh my God.
No detectable difference in their breathing rate or their heart rate. In other words, they weren't working any harder. And that's like 100 pounds. I mean, if the person weighs 140, 50 pounds, that's 70% of your weight, 100 pounds. So we have incredible, I mean, our cervical spine is incredible. Our cervical spine is incredible. The amount, all the ways that it can move. And if we don't do all these functions, this is very important real estate for our health, because the occiput here, there's the foramen magnum, this big hole where the brain becomes the brain stem, and it enters through the hole, goes through the C1 atlas, through the C2 down to about the C3. And that's where the central nervous system originates, the brain stem. So this is like priority number 1 for the whole body anatomically. It's in the heart. Which means if this is misaligned at all, anything below it will be sacrificed. The alignment will be sacrificed as needed to best align this.
Right.
Okay.
It all adjusts. It adjusts to the misalignment.
Absolutely.
Everything. Right.
Well, if you think about it, like, let's just say my hip, if my hip is tight on this side, so I'm going like this, right? Well, then my head, this wants to be as straight as possible. And then also my eyes want to be level with the horizon. So I'm going to go like this, right? So, or vice versa, rather, is what I meant. If I have a slight misalignment up here, my hip will go out. The way that it works, right? And if you talk to chiropractors, the upper cervical specialist, small niche of chiropractors, that's the first 3 years that I worked as body workers with a chiropractor. I learned a lot. There's where the atlas and the skull come together. It's called the atlanto-occipital joint, AO joint. There's about 10 places that it could be misaligned. 10 different ways it could be misaligned. So if that's misaligned right there, just a little bit, then C2 could be compensating all the way down. It explains things like scoliosis and literally almost every symptom we can have, because, if we're reducing the blood flow to the brain, that explains chronic fatigue and headaches. And if we're impinging nerve flow, so many different things can be explained by this collapsing here. And
So then does the weight demand alignment? Is it sort of like
exactly, the weight is like a cue that, hey, you better get it right now, because there's a weight on your head that could actually collapse you,
right?
snap your neck. So we're not messing around anymore. Now you have to go to your instinct of, whoa, wait a minute. And that instinct is the reversal of the whole pattern of collapse. We're collapsing into the fetal position slowly. That's what death is. It takes 75 years on average in this country or less. But we slowly collapse into the fetal position. And then at death, people are all curled up. Their toes are curled up and they're basically in the fetal position. They get dragged off in a body bag. Or we can live to 150, 200, flowing, full, never letting our fingers get all like this and holding it for years, releasing it all. Breath is the master key. And then whenever it's our time to take our last breath, it's our time. So yeah, that we could keep going forever, my friend. Let's do it.
We will. We'll have you back as soon as you want to come back, and you're gonna start doing live streams too, which we'll announce on here when that happens. So there's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
there's all kinds of ways to connect.
It looks like we have 42 people watching. Thank you all for being here. And if anyone wants to connect with me, if you don't mind, I'll just share basically 2 websites that actually just go straight to Substack. The URLs are healingisfree.com and jingpalace.com. So if you're not so interested in like the movement exercises, you just want to, read about the philosophy and breath, learn breathing, postural techniques, things like that, but more from a mindset perspective, go to healingisfree.com. And then if you really just want to get into the movement aspect and sort of develop like a yoga practice, go to jingpalace.com.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. My goodness. And I feel like it's just my favorite thing. This is my favorite thing. This is my dream come true to have all of you, all these amazing practitioners. For anybody who hasn't seen all the other healers who've been on, it's just superstar after superstar. Thank you.
It's so great. We just got some nice comments. Thank you, Alex.
Yes.
And Dolph.
Totally. You're getting lots of love here.
All my content is free on those 2 publications. $5 a month to pay to subscribe supports me. And what I do with paid subscriptions is I love to set up a phone call and try to get to know people, and any questions they might have for just $5 a month. I'm happy to have a phone call and be in, text communications with people, any questions they have.
Perfect.
And then I have the annual subscriptions if people want to actually do like online videos or work with me once a month. So
perfect. Oh, what a great model. Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Thank you so much, Dr. Megan. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye. We'll let you go, and then I'm going to just wrap up a little bit.
Okay.
Have a great weekend. Okay. Bye. I think you can sign yourself off, or maybe not. Maybe we have to sign off together.
I'm going to hit the X.
Okay, you hit the X, see what happens. Oh, this is great. Thank you all. We just have a few more minutes, but how awesome was that? Each of you have been on here. It's just awesome. Welcome, Jim. I saw Todd on there. Hi, Todd, my old friend. Welcome to everybody who came. I'm going to ask you all, I'm just going to note any questions that you had about for him for when he comes back. Walking with a heavy book on your head. Yes. I've talked about that before. Yes. You can just anything that you like, and you can just hold it. You can, if it will stand up there on its own, that seems fine. He goes around and holds the ball himself. Just FYI. It's not a type of qigong. It's his own practice that he's developed. Studied the 300-year-old or 300 BC is the book that he's been studying is some of this skills from that ancient Chinese medicine, but a lot of the spinal stuff and the weight on the head has been his own discovery, plus reading about the research and how we've been doing that naturally. African women that he mentioned. Self-service massage, Claudia says, yeah, totally. I felt it too. I felt just beautifully cleared after that initial exercise. Thank you all. Okay, cool. I think that's it for today. So Monday, you mentioned this Taurus field idea, right? Where we're these channels, and I have an exercise or exploration that I want to do where we can explore into our Taurus field and really see how it is the Taurus field, that our unique channel is just part of the channel. And I have an image to work with that. So we'll do another deep dive. I hate to use the word meditation, but exploration slash healing slash meditation on Monday with that. And it'll be just like this. It's just going to be the clearing of the field. And as I'm always saying, like, let yourself move, let the body move. And this stuff today is such a great reminder that it's in all directions, and that there's all these very natural ways. It reminded me of animals, right? That would pet each other, or lick their cats that lick their fur, all the different ways that we naturally move our energy, and we haven't been allowed to be our animal nature, our creature. So we'll do that Monday. Men's group is Sunday. Randolph Praksh is your man, so hit up his DMs and he'll give you the Zoom link. It is 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And I am asking for anybody's ideas for my chat on my channel. What do you want to talk about? What would you like to have? That's kind of cluttered right now. I'm thinking of fulfillment reports slash healing shares. So we share what we discovered after something like today, and all of the healers that have been on and taught us amazing things. What do we report? So we can just keep helping each other heal, reflecting it back. So DM me or say in my main chat what you might like, and I'll create those over the weekend. Well, that's it. All right. Tammy, so good to see you. Nita, everybody who came, thank you for being here. And we'll definitely have Doc Smith back soon. And if you are a practitioner and you want to give your healing tools away for free, DM me. And if you want to come on and do a healing conversation like we did yesterday with Claudia, where we work through, these shared wounds, these shared beliefs, these, we should. There's nothing we don't share. It is one of us healing. So if you want to come on and you're stuck somewhere, also DM me and we'll have you on, and you'll be doing a public service, which is what we're doing. I think that's it for now. So have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you back on Monday. And thanks again for being here. Oh, wait, we got more. Tammy says, I always figured I was halfway through life at 50. I like the idea much better as 1/4 of the way. Our great grandma lived, Tammy's my cousin, to be a few weeks shy of 101, and she chose to die. Her brother, our great great uncle Gus, lived to be 104. He broke his arm in his garden at 102, so I've always known we were going to live a very long time. We have great genes, Meg. When I'm 100 and you're 90, totally, totally. Let's go for 150. I say let's shoot for that. Wonderful to be here. Thank you for introducing the doc. Totally, Christina. Thanks for being here. Great job, Dr. Megan. Thanks for having me on. Thank you. Great job. Great job, everybody. Okay. Signing off. Love y'all. See you next week. Bye.